What's up, guys? Welcome back. Outside Broadcasting coming back to you guys again here today for a 79 lapper. 3 races left in the season. 2 races left before we decide our final 4. We just did, what was the last race? Atlanta, where Kevin Harvick got what'll probably be his final win of his career. Nice for Harvick to get a victory here in his final season, late in the season too. Always cool to go out a winner in your career. You know, Harvick doesn't plan to come back, so cool to see Kevin Harvick get that win. That means nobody's locked into the championship. Larson comes in plus 17, Chastain plus 13, Truex plus 12, and then it gets tight. Hamlin plus 1 for the final spot. Bell minus 1, Blaney minus 7, Reddick minus 17, and then Joey Logano, must-win territory, wrecking out at Atlanta, finishing second last, minus 41. Needs to win one of these next 2 races, where it's Phoenix next week and Rockingham here for the second time this season, which was dominated by Hamlin and Chastain earlier in the season, but Bubba Wallace, that's where he got his only win of the season. Pretty lucky for him. It was, a lot of scenarios. Right on the cut line, though, is Bell. Byron, unfortunately, going out in the round of 12, would have been championship contender. Just trying to ride out the end of this season. But then you got Larson, Truex, Chastain. Those 3 are in by a good bit. And then Hamlin, Logano, we know he needs to win. And there's Reddick. So you got Elliott and Busch and Byron, the only 3 in the top 10 here that are not championship. And Blaney, comes in minus 7. 13th is not going to cut it for Ryan Blaney, so looking good for Christopher Bell here, right on the pole. Needs to finish in front of Hamlin to give himself a good chance going in the next week. Hamlin starting back here in 6th. These 3 that are probably in. The way they're not going to get in is if Bell wins his race today, or Hamlin, Logano, or Blaney, and then next week, one of the, Hamlin, Logano, Bell, or Blaney wins, and it will knock one of those 3 out. Of course, they could have a bad race and fall into a point situation or DNF and find themselves in a must-win, vulnerable spot, but otherwise, Chastain, Larson, and Truex, they're fast every week, and they have a decent point cushion. So green flag in the air. Christopher Bell, William Byron, 1st and 2nd leading you to green. Playoffs has been uneventful, except the cutoff races have been eventful. Every round of the playoffs has seen a Hendrick car get eliminated. Bowman missed the playoffs. Elliott in the round of 16. Byron in the round of 12. Nobody really expected any of those 3 to happen. And then here in the round of 8, can Kyle Larson snap that and get to the final 4? Or will Larson find his way out in the round of 8 and then no Hendrick cars in the championship? Keselowski tight off of that corner, almost into the wall. Joey Logano falling back a few spots. Knows if he wants to win a championship, he's got to win here. Here or next week at Phoenix. Bell here out front knows he just needs to put as many points on Hamlin as possible, and if he can win his way in, he doesn't need to worry about Phoenix. Of course, that puts quite a bit of pressure on these 3, because then, say Hamlin, Blaney, or Logano wins next week, then it's a fight between Larson, Chastain, and Truex for the last 2 of what would be 3 spots. Or last, 3 guys going for 2 spots is what would happen then, so Hamlin trying to move forward. Looked like a championship favorite the first 10 races or so. Byron to the lead, Larson to 2nd, Bell falling back to 3rd. It's going to be a heck of a fight, I believe, between Bell and Denny Hamlin all day. They're already together. Hamlin goes by Truex ahead of Chastain. This has pretty much been the 6 all season. That is, you look at between these 6 drivers, they've won probably 85-90% of the races this season. Truex and Chastain was 6 apiece. Hamlin dominated the first half of the season, him and Larson, but Hamlin fell off. Larson didn't. Larson's got 4 wins, Hamlin only 2. Christopher Bell sporadically wins, but he's got 3. And then, of course, Byron, tragically eliminated in the round of 12. It took a lot for that to happen, but it did. He leads here today. He could be punching his ticket to the championship 4, but he's been eliminated for a few weeks now, so William Byron had time to think about it, ready to move on to next season and fight for a championship again. Very disappointing for William Byron. Christopher Bell trying to take the lead back. What would it be if Gibbs could get 3 of their 4 cars in the championship? Hamlin and Bell, they're fighting for the last spot right now, but if they can gain enough points on Larson or Chastain to knock one of them 2 out, it could be a Bell, Hamlin, and Truex all in the final. I think it's unlikely that happens, but it could happen. Then you talk about who will be season 1 champion. Kyle Busch underneath Chastain. Chastain almost in the wall off of that corner. That is not what these playoff drivers need. You see Reddick and Logano. Not only do they need to beat Chastain, Truex, Larson, Hamlin, Bell by quite a bit of points. Logano needs to win, but Blaney and Reddick running out the top 10, 8th and 10th. They got to either beat these guys by 5, 6, 7 spots to give themselves a chance next week, or, they could find themselves in potential must-win territory. 7 points, 6, 5 points, that's a lot to make up. You need something to happen, unless they just run bad and you run well. I believe Hamlin got the wall off of that corner. It's close. No, never mind. I don't know what I was seeing. I don't know what the heck I was seeing. Larson now looking for the lead. It's been a while since he's won. Yes, he's got 4 wins, but I believe he was the first one to 4 wins. And to think 2 other drivers now have 6. It's been quite a while since Larson's won, but he's showed the speed to win virtually every week. Underneath Christopher Bell here. Hamlin now looking underneath Byron here for 3rd. If he can get it, that's big. Not quite going to get it. Byron cutting his nose off. You talk about a few spots between Hamlin and Bell. Going to be watching them 2 all day. Remember, Blaney started 13th. He's up to 10th. Him and Logano round out the top 10 here. Reddick. He's not won a non-super speedway race this season, so is Reddick capable of winning? That's a question that should be raised. Yeah, we're late in the season. Minus 17, didn't collect too many points compared to the guys he's racing now for the final 4 spots. During the regular season, 6 wins versus 1. Came at Daytona? I think it was Daytona. It was Daytona. The second Daytona race. He's been fast. He showed top 5, top 10 speed, but he's in the round of 8. You want a top 4 spot, you have got to put yourself in winning position. And he's fast every week, but he's not quite done it. Elliott, 16th. I think he started better than that. Yeah, started 10th, so he's dropped. Busch is still right where he qualified. Lap traffic. Still a ways away yet. 12 seconds back is Ty Dillon and about 23 seconds a lap, so they definitely will get to lap traffic. It's just a matter of when. Larson all over Bell, but doesn't pull out to make the move. He's all over Bell. Looked like he was going to move him. He was so close. Underneath Bell here, off corner exit. Not going to make it stick. Going to lose some time here down the front straightaway. Byron and Truex all over him. Hamlin to 5th. Then Busch. And then Chastain. Reddick losing a little bit of time to these guys. Logano and Blaney trying to get to him. These top 10 are getting really close. 2 seconds separate 1st and 10th. 11th is pretty far back, so. Byron underneath Hamlin. Christopher Bell continues to lead. This is big if Bell manages to win, because what if Hamlin wins next week? Chastain, Truex, Larson could find themselves in a points battle next week at Phoenix. May only be 2 of them getting in. I don't see a scenario unless they all wreck, or 2 of them wreck, that we'll see more than 1 miss. There's a good chance all 3 are going to be in. But Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, both of them on the cut. 1st and 3rd, they're all under a blanket here. Let's say Blaney's losing a little bit of time again. Larson underneath Bell. Sending it in. Not quite going to get there. A run on exit. Still not going to get there. These top 10. Pit stops, anything can happen. So, the fact that all 8 of our championship contenders are running together here. Not in the most craziest order, but, Logano, he's got to win. And Blaney, Reddick, they'll find themselves in must-win territory if they don't at least beat these guys today by a little bit. Reddick, minus 17. He's probably in must-win. And running 7th, he will be in must-win. If he finishes there. 7th is not bad, but you're trying to make the top 4. Make it a goal. Finish top 4 every week. And sometimes if you don't gain points during the regular season, that's not even enough. Blaney under Logano for 9th. So lap traffic. Still a ways away, but are getting closer. Reddick in front of Chastain. If Reddick can get by Truex and start making a charge for the front, pit stops is going to shake things up. Could Byron or Busch win? Guys that are not in the playoffs anymore. Then we'll go into next week with still nobody clinched. Up until last week, a playoff driver has won every race. Hamlin to the point. Larson back under him. Hamlin going to lose a few spots here. He's going to get back underneath Bell, those 2. Their teammates, how nice do they play, though? And Blaney and Logano losing some time. Gained a little bit back there. They're starting to race back here. Now Reddick by Truex. This is valuable points for him. You know what sucks for Reddick is that everybody's running inside the top, 10 that he's got to beat. You know how they'd be running a little worse? He could actually be gaining points, but, I mean, gaining 1 or 2 for him won't be enough. Truex looking back under him, not quite going to get there. We are starting to come up on some lap traffic, not too far ahead. Reddick up to 6th. You look at Ryan Blaney, red hot. Probably the hottest driver in the Cup Series right now because, went in 2 races in the round 12, got him some points and gave him an opportunity to maybe point his way into the championship 4. He's obviously going to need to run good enough to do it, but heck, I think he's got the abilities to do it, so. Ryan Blaney up to 9th, needs to run a little better. But -7, try and make it -3, -4. Give yourself a good chance going into the next week. Of course, if something happens, unless you're like Logano, -41, he'll still be able to have a shot. And then you can see a group of cars back here. Poor 9 car has just been not good this year, and he's probably not going to win a race. He's had opportunities, racing hard at the end of these races, couldn't get it done. Elliott still has not won. Larson out front. Bell, Hamlin, Byron, Busch, top 5. Then Reddick, Truex, Chastain, Blaney, Logano. And lap traffic is only a few seconds ahead. 38 laps into this 79 lapper. I feel like Bell has had the upper hand on Denny Hamlin most of this race. They've been together, but Bell's kind of stayed in front of him. They are 2nd and 3rd. So if they came out of this thing finishing where they're at, they'd be tied going into next week. And we already know if the gap is more than a point, they've got to beat each other by a few positions. But if it's 1 point, then they just got to straight up beat each other. Or if it's 0 points, they just got to beat each other. That's all they got to do. If they're coming tied, just beat the other guy. If they come in +1, -1, you just got to beat the other guy. Because you beat them by 1 point, you guys are tied in points. Tiebreaker goes to the better finisher. So Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin right now could go into the next week tied. Technically, they came into this week tied because Hamlin +1. Christopher Bell beating him right now, he would get the odd, even though they're tied in points, technically. So, yeah, it doesn't matter till next week, though. But, geez, the 20 and the 11 going to be going at it next week. And Kyle Larson, first on the grid, +17, leads this race and starting to put a gap on the 20, who has a small gap on the 11, who has a small gap on the rest of the group. As we're starting to come up on lap traffic, 42 laps into this 79 lapper, more than halfway through it. Larson, we got a whole bunch of cars here, all 5 cars in front of him. So this group is about to get really close. Will we see an incident that involves any of these playoff drivers? Could somebody get the wall off of turn 2, off of turn 4? That's always bad news. Hamlin all over Bell, who's all over Larson, who's struggling to get by Ty Dillon and the rest of this lap down group right here. Larson looking underneath Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon not giving him any room. 4 wide into this corner. Hamlin losing a lot of spots. Byron and Busch dove under him. Talk about checking up into this corner. Here's Reddick, Truex, and they are all under a blanket. Reddick Going to get shuffled to the outside. Going to lose some more spots. Hamlin back underneath Christopher Bell. Byron to second. Larson. The only lap car he's got by is a 78 right now. These guys not making it easy for each other now. Bell, Hamlin struggling to get by 78. They're looking underneath him. That's BJ McLeod. Byron now all over Kyle Larson, trying to end his season with a bang, even though he got eliminated in the playoffs earlier than he wanted to. Taking the high road there, going to lose at least 3 spots. Oh, 3 wide off the corner. Contact. Reddick. Truex. Byron. They hung on to it. Oh, my gosh. We are going looking. Oh, was that not Reddick? No, that was McLeod. Right here off the corner. It looked like right there. Oh, my gosh. Truex is so lucky. Both of them hung on to it. Because his points gap out the window right there if he doesn't hang on to it. BJ McLeod about ruined his day and his season. Busch now under Bell. Hamlin now all over Larson. Ty Dillon is falling back a little bit. Now they're trying to lap Ryan Preece. This has gotten aggressive. Larson going to the outside here. Going to get passed by Hamlin. Maybe Bell too. Larson's lost a few spots now. 50 laps into the 79 lapper. When are they going to pit? I remember there was issues earlier this season with pitting. Could we see it again? I don't remember if there were cautions or not. Kind of thought there was. You know, the 23 of Bubba Wallace ended up winning that race. Dominated by Hamlin and Chastain. Hamlin's been good today. Chastain's been decent. Hamlin and Bell lead. The 2 on the cut. 1 in, 1 out. Larson, Busch, Truex, Byron, Chastain, Reddick, Blaney, all these guys battling back here with lap traffic, trying to get by Preece, struggling. Preece not going to cut him a break. Larson almost into him. Busch really high, going to lose a few spots. And Blaney and Logano now looking underneath Reddick and maybe Chastain. Reddick losing some spots. Yeah, these two probably going to be, well, we already know Logano is, but Reddick probably going to join him in must-win situation going into the next week. Blaney trying to not let that happen, but he's only losing spots. He's behind all the guys he's got to beat right now, so he could be in must-win situation going next week. It'll be a heck of a points battle between Bell and Hamlin, though. First and second, maybe it won't be. As heck, one of them might win this race. These two are gone officially now, finally. They've got a whole 2.5 seconds on the rest of this field. More than likely, one of these two guys is going to win. How do they race each other? Are they going to be clean? Are they not going to be clean? You know, they are teammates, but, you know, fighting for a championship. Both of them. You know, Joe Gibbs, 1, 2, 3 right now in the running order. Truex up to 3rd. They hope to get the 54 hooked up a little better next season. Or at least make, well, he did make the playoffs this year. But try and make it past the round of 16 this year. Next year. Bell and Hamlin, no lap traffic in front of them for quite a while. As these guys, it ain't even going to matter. They are still stuck behind Cody Ware and Ryan Newman. Larson now to 3rd. Busch, Chastain, Blaney, Reddick. Truex now back to 8th, potentially 9th. Logano looking on him. Elliott up to 9th. Byron has fallen way back. Ooh, Preece. What's going on here? All right, we got pit stops. Is anybody going to run each other over? Yes. Suarez into Byron. It's not the first time. That's the second time in the playoffs Suarez has done this. Gibbs is in it. Uh-oh, this could bring out a caution. Cindric. These guys getting stopped. Briscoe ain't getting stopped. Is the caution going to come out for this? It's not. So now this is where it's going to be important. Where does everybody come out? Truex, Elliott going around an extra lap. You have to watch the 11 and the 20. The 11 and the 20 right here. Still together. So Logano coming out of the pits right there. Or no, that's Cindric. So got everybody a lap down here. Maybe it's better that Byron got eliminated in the round of 12, because he'd be mad right now if he was still in it and just got run over. That's the second time Suarez has done that this season. Or second time in the playoffs he's done that. He did that at, and it was a cutoff race. It was a pretty big deal. He took out a lot of playoff contenders. Suarez was a playoff contender when he did it last time, and Bell and Hamlin, definitely going to come down to these two. 20 to go. Now 19 to go. West lap traffic holds him up. Larson's almost 5 seconds back. Him and Busch. Blaney up to 5th. Reddick 7th. Chastain's 9th. Truex back to 12th. Logano 14th. Doesn't matter if he's not going to win anyway. So Truex and Chastain not running great. You know, Reddick only going to make up a few points up on him. You know, with Bell and Hamlin out front, though, this is big for Blaney. Ahead of all three of them. Or, sorry, 2 of them. Larson's going to be in good shape going into the next week. Hamlin and Bell both come in on the cut line. And they're going to race it out what will more likely be for the win. You know, there's a good chance, you know, the winner's going to be in. There's a good chance the loser's not going to get in. So it could be, you know, a get in, get out situation for these two teammates. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin. You know, early in the year, we were like, dang, Denny's a lock for the championship. And as of recent, that's not been the case, but he could break that winless streak and get his 3rd win of the season at, you know, the same track he should have won earlier this year, but he didn't. And then Christopher Bell coming on, he's gotten wins here and there. He's got 3 wins on the year. He just gets them here and there. They're all sporadic. You know, but he's been competitive every week, and they come in 1 point difference, and they come in 1st and 2nd. Way ahead of everybody else. And heck, Blaney's looking to get a few more spots. See that gap closing up. They're probably stuck behind lap traffic. You know, 1.7 back. Maybe Blaney try and get a few more spots. He just needs to not lose any. 15 coming to 14 to go. What are these guys going to do? Lap traffic everywhere. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin. At this point, putting on a clinic. They were able to get away through the advantage of lap traffic. Who is going to get it done? And will we see a caution? Obviously, that would change everything. Next time by, it'll be 10 to go. Denny Hamlin. Christopher Bell, a massive gap. See William Byron running last, 2 laps down. Gibbs, Suarez, all the guys involved, 35th, 34th. Horrible way to end this race for them is, pit stops, a killer again. Gibbs was one of the guys I believe Suarez got last time, and there he is, potentially going to go 2 laps down. We'll see if he pulls out of the way for his teammates. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, racing for it all here at Rockingham. They could be the first driver to be going into Phoenix the only driver going into Phoenix with ease. You can go in comfortable, but to go in, not have to worry, know you're in, and not think you're in. That's what these two are fighting for. To be stress-free for the next week and a half, 2 weeks before championship weekend. Try and be peaceful at mind. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, all over. They're not peaceful at mind for the next 10 laps, though. We'll be coming to 7 to go next time by. AJ Allmendinger not moving out of the way. He knows he's coming back next season, hopes to be more competitive. He's about 20th place in the points this season. He's been really quiet this year. All over each other here, coming to 5 to go. Will we see a late race pass by Bell? Maybe not. 5 to go. And we gotta go look at the rest of the guys in the playoffs, see where they're at. Chastain, Truex up to 8th and 9th. Reddick's up to 6th. Blaney 5th. But Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, 4 to go. One's going to get in with the win, and the other one's going to gain significant points to maybe find himself in a points battle with Chastain and Truex next week. Larson's probably going to be in very good situation running third here and, comes in plus 17. He'll be fine unless he wrecks out. No lap traffic in front of him now. 3 to go. Can Denny Hamlin snap the streak, get revenge on not winning the race he dominated earlier this season? Bubba Wallace got his only win this year here at Rockingham. Hamlin dominated it, him and Chastain, coming to 2 to go, and he could get revenge and win it in a can't be more important time to lock his way in. He only came in plus 1 over Bell, who's on his tail. 2 to go, and he's putting a gap on him. Gibbs and Suarez racing in front of him. The two that wrecked on pit road. Coming to the white flag, and he's got a nice gap. Denny Hamlin pulling away from Christopher Bell, and he looks to be in the championship 4. The first half of the season, we would have said, yeah, no doubt about it. The second half of the season, we would have said, yeah, probably not. But he's going to do it. He turns 3 and 4 for the final time. A big gap now on the 20. He's falling off. Coming to the line, Denny Hamlin. He's in the championship 4, the first and only one to lock his way in. And Denny's in. 3rd win of the year. Blaney ends up 5th. Reddick ends up 6th. Truex 8th. Chastain 9th. Doesn't really matter for Logano because he's not fighting for points, so he needs to win next week. He knows it. Reddick probably going to need to win next week. I'd almost guarantee you he needs to win next week now. Blaney, probably. Look at the rest of the standings here. Denny's in. You still see they're dominating the points there. "63 laps at Phoenix and then 54 at Homestead to decide this season." No, is anybody gonna, double digit the DNFs this year? Briscoe? Harrison Burns got a DNF the next couple races. Both of these next two races, and then if he's gonna do it, Briscoe needs a DNF one of them. Laps led this year. Danny Hamlin on top of that by quite a bit. Laps completed. Larson's completed all but 10 laps this year. So I will get the points out to you guys. You guys can look at that. And see you guys at Phoenix. 2 to go. And then we'll move on to Season 2. Peace.